The lesson for today is making reading badges or book badges. We make these in class or at home. When the kids get done with the book, they make a badge that symbolizes the fact that they finished that book. So the first place we go is we click on our Google Apps and we go into our Drive. I always tell the kids right away to pick the folder where they want it to be stored so that they're not searching for it later in random places. A lot of my kids have a folder called book badges. So I'm going to put it under book reviews here. Once I have it in there, I'm going to click new, and we're using Google Drawings today. So click on more or hover over more and go down to Drawings, and Google Drawings will open up in front of us. Like all things Google, it will be untitled, so the first thing I have my kids do is title it so that they don't have a lot of untitled drawings sitting in their Drive. So we'll title this really quick. Title it Frindle, because that's the first book we read at the beginning of the year. So if I make a badge, basically I'm looking for a symbol to help represent this. So the kids always add a shape first. So click here where it says shape. There's lots of different shapes that they can choose from. Everything's taking a while to load here. There's shapes, arrows, nothing seems to be loading. There we go, we got something coming up here. So they start with that. I'm just going to start with the circle today. I tell them to draw that in there. And I always move it up to the top corner basically. And then I get everything else squared around it so I can just focus on that. So there's not all that extra white space. I'll zoom in. So the kids have to put in a picture, the author, and the title in these. So there's some things that they can do with this. First thing they can do is they can change the color of the circle or the shape that they picked. Once they click on it, there's a fill button here. We're going to make this one red. So it's red. I can change the border color. Maybe I want it black still, but maybe I want it thicker. So I can change the thickness of that. Maybe put it there so you can see, maybe even bigger. So I can really have that border pop a little bit more. Then what we want to do is we want to add our titles. So if I go to Insert, I can click on Word Art. I can also put a text box in there and just type in my text. Kids like Word Art. It looks a little bit better. So Word Art, I'm going to put Frindle, hit Enter, and it'll put it right there in the middle, hopefully. It didn't put anything. I'm going to try it one more time. Word Art. Oh, there it is. So now it's there. So if I click on it, I can move it around. I can also, maybe I put it right down there, I can change the font. So right now it's an Arial. I may want to put it into this permanent marker one, which I think is kind of cool. I can change, again, the fill color on this. So maybe I want it to be yellow on the inside so it stands out a little more. Maybe I want the border of that one not to be quite as thick. Now you can change the border on that. So Frindle. Here's where I normally would add a text box now. So this one here is for your text box. And I would draw this text box. Once I click text box, I'll just plus sign. I'll draw this text box underneath here. And I'll write the author's names. By Andrew Clements. And if I want it to fit on one line, I might need to stretch that out a little bit more. Stretch it out a little more so it looks like I want it to. Try to get it in the center. There we go. Then I always tell the kids that they also need to have a picture that helps represent the book. Preferably not the title page or the cover page of the book, something that they find that represents it. So I know Frindle is about a pen. So we're going to insert image, and I'm going to hit search from the web. And it's going to bring up the search over here, and I'm going to look up pen. More important, I'm going to look at fountain pen, see what comes up. Hopefully something comes up. Fountain pen. So here's some fountain pens that come up. I may want to pick one of these. I click on it. I dragged it over, it looks like, and it's going to put it right there for me. I can just click on it too and hit the insert button. That's too big, so I'm going to have to shrink that down. Shrink it down even further. And put it right there. And I may not want, see how it has a border around it? That's because I dragged it in there. If you put it in there normally, it won't have a border, but I can also mask this as something different. So if I want this to be different, over here where it says crop, there's a little arrow there that says mask, and I can then pick a shape to mask it or change it. So if I click the circle, you can see it puts that circle around it. And I can change that border weight so it's not really there as much. So that's how you make the badge. That would be a completed badge. What you can do then is I always have the kids save this. Because right now if you put it into the Google Drawing, it'll work, but then they always have to worry about, is it shared properly? So what I have them do is they hit File, they download as a PNG image, because if you download it as a PNG image, all of this around here will show up as transparent. It won't show up as white. It'll just show your badge there. So File, download as a PNG, and it'll save that image to your computer Chromebook. If you have a Chromebook, you might want to then upload it to your Google Drive so it's stored in the right place. So that's how you make a reading badge.